What is history? And how do you write history? Well, for me and for you, history is a white book. It's a book that we have to fill with words. My challenge is to tell you how to fill this work. Okay, who makes history? You make history. We make history. We started with a fire. Around that fire, our ancestors told their peers about how to survive in an environment that was hostile. So what they did, individuals who went outside and survived, they came back. And they gave the community an image. They gave something away, their survival and their story. And they drew it, and they even drew it in the caverns. This allowed the communities to get bigger and bigger and spread. We became we. Indo-Europeans used a concept called co. Co means we together. We together means that we do things together, that we share things together. Actually, many words in our languages share that co prefix. Cooperation, even knowledge, conocimiento in Spanish, community, collaboration, company. They all come from thousands of years ago, even coitus. At that moment of time, yeah, together, we needed heroes also in that last word. You know Gilgamesh. You don't know the name, but you know him. He was a Sumerian leader. Thing is, he went out. He said he was a demigod. He went on a trip. He had a friend. He killed a lion. He survived the flood. He survived with some animals. And he fought good and evil. You know why you know Gilgamesh? Because his stories are in the Bible and in the Hercules myth. The good thing for him was that he was at the right time at the right place. He was the first hero to see his name written down. That's why he influenced so much of our culture, but we forgot his name, because then we changed to paper. So, what about the Greeks? Are you going to be talking about the Greeks? Of course I am. What happened when the Greeks decided to go to a city called Ilion? We all know it by Troy. Did they go and came back with a manual about how to win the war? No. They came back with their problems. They came back with the idea on how to be not only a good leader, but also to be a good Greek. And eventually, that became how to be a good person. So when all those stories got together, and there's a curator that we can call Homer, we can call whatever you want, what he added into the Iliad, basically, that was the way of how to be a good human being. And that's why it survived for so many years. Another Greek, Alexander the Great. You know this guy, you've seen the movie. He took some risk, he took another trip, and he took some decisions. Not all right, some wrong, like the Gordian knot. But the description of what he did right or wrong is so fixed that centuries later, whoever drew or painted something about Alexander and his Gordian knot did the same thing. Many civilizations have used this. For example, the Vikings. When they were on their trips, they came back and they told their story. Many civilizations have taken the path of telling stories. Actually, it all happened the same way. Going back home and talking to the people about and around the common fire. See how our fire works? Let's get forward. This required a way of telling the stories. That's when we became epic. What's epic? Needs a human, needs story, needs something that is common to all of us, and it's a community. That's what a story, that's an epic story is all about. And we are all the source of epic stories as long as we follow this simple, very simple rule. Something that is common for all of us. Bigger and bigger became the communities. Bigger and bigger became the leaders. Bigger and bigger were the stories, and still work with the same framework. People, words, and common ground. First, there were words. We started with words around the fire. Everybody had a voice. You have a voice. When we put that voice together, we ended up with stories that at the very beginning, like the Aeneid, like the Siddhartha Buddha, like the Bible, like the Quran, they started like oral stories. And then came paper and the alternatives to paper. And we could put that down for the future, for our kids. And then came the poets. Thank you. Where's our poet? Thanks to the poets, we got eternity. Because who doesn't know about Robin Hood? Who doesn't know about the King Arthur? That's because the poets told not only a good story, but a great poetic, epic story. So, in the 19th century, Carlyle said that there was a theory, the great man theory. He basically said, if you look at big men, great heroes, you're going to be learning about yourself. The problem was that the moment the role model was a guy called Napoleon, not very nice over here in Spain at the time. But let's think about Lincoln. He had to teach himself in a faraway cabin about how to be a leader, how to be a good human being. Had it not been for the leaders he read about, we wouldn't have the Gettysburg Address, one of the best pieces of oratory in the whole world, thanks to the theory. Right now, we need to go forward a little bit. Science used this very same system. He gave us the way to how to make light bulbs. He not only gave us the light bulbs, he also told us about how to fail in the way to succeed. Like Alexander Fleming. See, Alexander, he uses the name of a person dead for centuries. And again, he told us about his failure with a petri dish. And surprisingly, in that petri dish, he discovered penicillin. Had it not been for his failure and telling us about his failure, we wouldn't have penicillin. And if we didn't have penicillin, we wouldn't have antibiotics. They save millions of lives. They save thousands of lives as of this moment. But suddenly, we became the happy universe, the happy civilization. We started wanting to show only our good side, only the best part of us. But that's wrong, because with that we killed the fires. We didn't allow the community to tell their stories of failure so we could learn. So this all okay civilization culture is wrong, because what we need is failure, because we learn from errors, and we need your errors. Without your errors, we won't learn. So, what happened? We got lucky. The fires are back. We got fires again. The world is full of fires, small fires everywhere, with people around them. There are some small fires, some big fires. And those fires are connected in ways that they were never in the past. People across continents, people across cultures, people across languages are sharing around the fire, small fires. And those fires are connected and global. You call them the social networks. You call them the internet. You call them that thing you do on nights with your friends. Well, you call it TED. I call it Civilization Reborn. We should call it that. Why? Because it's a fire camp. And it's as simple as that. You know the rules. I'm just going to follow them a little bit. What do you need to be successful in a fire camp? You need people, and you got to speak human, please. Talk to people. Secondly, we need your story. Share, give. Tell a good story. Tell the good part, but tell also about your errors. And definitely, we need you to tell us what you learned. We need, because you learned something, right? We need that to learn ourselves. These are very simple rules that we can apply in every day. So let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's see what we have learned. Well, we learned about the fire, about how the small fires are everywhere, the errors, the civilization, about Fleming, about Alexander, about the Greeks, about Gilgamesh, he will show up any time, any moment. But we go back in time, and what do we find? Obviously, the hero, the community, the individual, fire, and my book. What do we need to fill this book? We need to start with fire. Start with very small words about I did this. You know what? Because we need something very simple. We need you to tell a story. We need your story. Because only with that, with your story, we'll be able to make history. Please, go out there, take your book, and make history. We need you. Thank you very much.